Hey there, how's everyone doing? My name is Trish Campbell, and I'm here to meet with my good friend Nadine Searle. We're going to do another one of our Love Me Chit Chats. We are just on the heels of the new moon in Aries, which I'm sure everyone has been hearing the buzz around all these planetary bodies in Aries right now, and feeling the impacts of that. Here's Nadine. Let me just let her in. There we go. Hi, Nadine.
Hello, Trish. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Enjoying
That's
some sunshine
good.
today.
Yeah.
Lovely weather, and I think you have too, haven't you?
Well, yeah, the sun just came out. It was kind of a gloomy morning, and yeah, the sky opened
Good.
up a little bit, still a little bit cloudy, but yeah, you could see their sun at least, which is nice.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah. So it didn't take very long. Sorry, I was a little bit delayed getting started, but I
Okay.
just got into, I see, at least it's in my feed. Maybe that's just my algorithm, but everybody's just talking about this new moon in Aries being something significant. I mean, I can definitely feel that there's six actual planets, but I say seven planetary bodies because we've got Chiron in there too, which isn't technically a planet, but the energies are there, and that's the it represents the wounded healer that
Mm.
Chiron is, and the healing that's always ongoing. And so that is conjunct the sun, or it was yesterday, but we're still feeling those energies. And I think just this fiery energy is like, I don't know about you, but I've just been feeling like we've been talking about this the last couple months about feeling on the cusp of this new chapter, this new thing that we can't quite define or see yet. And I feel like that's in it being initiated this week. Like it's really a powerful shift in energy. If you want to lean into that, I don't know. How have you been feeling like this week particularly?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. It's that kind of, I mean, I am on purpose trying not to control everything so much, but
Yeah.
I do feel a different kind of energy, and I do feel quite empowered, but in a gentle way, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
any sense. I feel supported, and I feel that yeah, I have got that kind of, I don't need to do so much because I'm sort of doing it anyway, if that makes any sense. That
Yes,
and
it
I find,
does.
yeah, and I quite like that. It's a different way of looking at things and behaving, to be honest. And it's quite freeing for me. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? You know me so well. But
Yeah.
it is quite freeing for me to be experimenting with this, trying not to control and going with the flow. And you said a little phrase, and I have to repeat it because I keep repeating it to myself a lot as a memory kind of thing to remind myself. And it's like, just let it go, let it all go. And how does that feel? You just
Mm-hmm.
do that, and that's really, it's such a simple little sentence, and in itself it might not mean a lot, but when I use it in a time when I am going back to my old patterns of going, oh, I've got to push to do something, I've got to do whatever, I just go, let it all go. How does that feel? And actually, it's such a joy to just
Mm-hmm.
pause. And I did it then, didn't I? Just leant back. How does that feel? Just take a
Yeah.
moment to really go, and then it reminds me that I don't have to be pushing, I don't have to be working so hard or doing so much, trusting the universe, the planets, whatever's going on, being authentic, being genuine, keeping it simple, keeping it real, all of those things. They're happening anyway, and I don't have to work at them. So so that little phrase has helped me so much recently because I do
Yeah.
really remember to
Aw.
use it. So thank you for that. And I would say that to anybody,
Mm-hmm.
remember that little phrase. I'll say it again, when you feel you're caught up in the busyness or trying to control things or trying to get too much done, just pause for a moment, let it all go, and then go, how does that feel? And
Yeah.
it's wonderful. So
It's
yeah, that
powerful, I
it
think.
is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think, in the context of what we were talking about when that came up, it's like, maybe not our reality not being what we want it to be or not being where we want to be at this point. We make plans for ourselves and try to work towards those, and then you know, kind of recognizing that we're not where we want to be, and we can, and like you said, the control enters in, and we're trying to control every little step. And with that, I feel like we create our own suffering because we wish for the reality to be different than it is, and we can just get stuck in that loop of always, you know, things aren't going the way I want, so I need to push back on it, and I need to like try to
Yeah.
control it.
Yeah.
And then like we just get, that becomes our autopilot. And so I think in that moment when I said what would happen if you just let it all go, like how would that feel? Because we don't even give ourselves the opportunity, because it's autopilot. It's an immediate, like
Mm,
almost
mm,
involuntary response. It's our nervous system trying to
mm.
protect us,
Yeah.
to try to make things, to make ourselves comfortable because it feels unsafe in, you know, a emotional way or whatever. You know, things just aren't how we want them to be. So we we have to try to control that. Our ego wants to
Mm,
try to control that. And then, but what we end up doing is just creating our own suffering in that, because we're
yeah.
constantly fighting against the grain. And I think when we let go, and we have to like consciously do it at first until it becomes our auto response, but when we do that and give that space, then we allow for something potentially even bigger than what we were
Mm,
working towards to come in. And we don't know that at the time, because we can only see what we see, and what we can't see, we are just, you know, either we fear it or we just don't even know what's possible. Like I think,
mm,
and I'm trying to look at it that new way too, of like something, you know, I want X, Y, and Z to happen, but what if something bigger is in the plan? Like I believe in
yeah.
divine order and divine
Mm,
guidance, and um the universe, God, you know, having a bigger plan for us that we can't possibly imagine for ourselves. So
mm, mm,
we get stuck in this loop of trying to make things the way like we had planned out, but that's not necessarily the
mm.
path we're meant to walk.
Yeah, and I love that so much because it is with that little pause, using that little phrase that you've given me, I can sit back and it gives me that moment just to remember actually when I have stepped back or when I've been forced to step back, when life
Hmm.
has done that for me or to me, however you want to look at it, then that's when the magic happens. That's when the universe has given me what I need, maybe not what I thought I wanted or thought I
Right.
wanted. And the memories can come back and I go, "Oh, actually, yes, looking back, that's how it played out. It wasn't what I was pushing towards. It wasn't what I thought I wanted or needed. It was something different and quite often something better, like you say.
Yeah.
So remembering that as well to go, it's not all about what I want or what I'm pushing towards or working towards. It's actually there's more. And
Hmm.
quite often, it's not the way we planned it, but something better comes. And it doesn't come if we don't get out of the way sort of thing, does it? So that again
Yeah.
is a reminder because that has happened in my life a lot. And I don't remember because I, like you said, I've got that old habit and it is an insecurity thing, isn't it? Like if I control it, then everything's going to be okay. But remembering that isn't necessarily true either. That is how
Right.
I spent a lot of my life, but it
Hmm.
isn't like that. And it takes a little bit of courage, I think it does for me anyway, to actually not act that way because that is what I've always done. But remembering that, it is okay to, again, let it all go. How does that feel? It is, oh my God, it's not as scary as I think, all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I remember all the time. Actually, it's not so scary. It's okay. And wonderful things do happen. And it's remembering that all the time. And I do have to repeat, repeat, repeat. I really do have to do
Yeah.
that.
I
Um,
I do too.
yeah, and maybe, I might always have to be like that. I don't know. And again,
Hmm.
something we've talked about a lot, the word acceptance is coming up for me
Yes, that's what I was
massively.
thinking too. We're on the
I
same
know again
wavelength.
and again and again, just accepting everybody knows, I'm not where I want to be in my life. I'm not the way I want to look. I'm not, my recovery and everything is going slower than I planned. I get quite frustrated. But just accept, remember
Hmm.
that I'm actually, it's all okay, accepting what is, it's all okay, things will change slowly, maybe slower than I want them to because I'm quite impatient. But so acceptance again, it's hilarious, isn't it? But acceptance again is another word that gives me that chance to just pause and go,
Hmm.
yeah, that's okay. And again, it's powerful and it is comforting.
Hmm.
And I really think I need comforting a lot. So if I can find the words, one word or a simple phrase that gives me that, and I'm holding my hands on my heart here because that's how it makes me feel. Um,
Hmm.
I really do feel that helps. I say to myself quite often, hands on heart, it's okay. That gives me comfort. I can say
Yeah.
that to myself. And people do. I say to people, I don't know about you, Trish, but I say to people a lot, I talk to myself.
Hmm.
And those are the things I do, and they really help, like as if we were talking to a young child or trying to help someone else, or like we talk to each other, don't we? We support each other in that way. So we use these phrases, but to remember that we can use them on ourselves, we can say them out loud,
Yeah.
and they're powerful, aren't they? And they're comforting, or just repeatedly in your mind. I do it a lot with the breath. As I breathe in and out, I'm saying a phrase to myself, and then in that way, I'm soothing and calming myself as well.
Hmm.
So it doesn't have to be difficult, these things, but they're simple little changes that make a difference, don't they? And I think that's really how I'm feeling at the moment. That I know there's change, I know there's power, I know there's chaos in the whole world.
Hmm.
Um, but actually, in our little part of the world, if you like, being totally selfish about it, in my little bubble,
Yeah.
I can make it so, and that at the moment is what I'm really doing, and that is, I'm going to come back to the word. I can't think of another word. I'm accepting that. I'm
Except,
feeling
yeah,
I'm feeling acceptance with that, and that's quite lovely actually. Yeah, quite
it's,
pleased with
yeah,
that. Yeah.
I think it's freeing to do that because yeah, it just like feels freeing
Mm,
to
mm.
pause and and I think pause allows the acceptance to enter in, because when
Yes.
we're in like wrapped up in like whether it's what's going on in the world collectively or globally, or what's going on in our individual life that's not
Mm,
going the way that we want it to, we react and we have that auto response. But if we just like stop and take that pause and then allow for ourselves to have that moment of, okay, this is the way things are right now, and I'm going to accept that even if I don't like it,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
then because if we continue to not accept it, we're just creating that resistance cycle. Like we're just constantly
Yes.
resisting and never
Yes.
moving forward. So if we at
Mm,
least, it's just like with healing, with grief, if we try to go around it, if we try to push it away and say, oh, I'm okay, I don't need to deal with that, then it's still there. It's always going to be there. But if we kind of face it, if we accept it, that's the process of moving through. That's a process of like,
it
well,
is.
it's
Yeah.
letting go, it's growing,
Mm,
it's allowing yourself, it's liberating, it's also opening the door to something better, something greater,
yeah.
some other, like it's these little moments or these little things that like they all add up to something bigger. And we, like I said, we might not see what that is, but we at least keep that path open instead of keeping
Mm,
ourselves just in this kind of holding
yeah.
pattern with resisting
Yeah.
reality all the time.
Mm.
And
And
I don't know,
it,
yeah, that just really resonates right now
it
with
does,
me
doesn't it? And
too. Yeah,
it almost seems a little bit too simple, doesn't it? To go, if
it
we
does.
accept, but it's not. I say the word out loud, and that helps me. But it's feeling it too, isn't it? As soon
Hmm.
as you go, actually, I accept this, much as you might resist and oh no, no, I can't accept it. If you do, and again, repeating that word sometimes is what I need, breathing, um, letting it sit there, kind of thing, and feeling it. It does change the energy, and it changes how you feel. And I think, again, it's like you've said it there. If we've got the resistance and we're not going with that, we are again keeping on creating our own loop of suffering, as you said
Yeah.
before. And I love that phrase because it's so powerful. And I think as well, bringing on that point of acceptance for the global stuff that's going on. Um, I think again, resistance, like you said, sometimes we think, well, we can't accept it because some things that are happening are awful, and accepting it is sort of wrong. We can't
Right.
accept it, but it's finding some peace with it, because actually, the way I feel, I can't change it. I'm not powerful enough to change that, even if I think I am sometimes. So accepting it, like you say, that lessens the grief, the feelings of grief, doesn't it?
Hmm.
And anxiety and worry and everything, by going, just accept it. It doesn't mean we're saying it's okay.
Right.
It's
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that.
I think it is that kind of thing. It's just how I feel.
Yeah,
I feel like that as well when we talk about forgiveness. Well, I can't forgive because that means it's okay. It's not. It's a bigger understanding and a bigger
right.
emotion, isn't it?
There,
So
that's a different emotion. Yeah.
yeah, different completely. But I know that, and when I talk to other people about acceptance, forgiveness, and all that kind of thing, letting go, sometimes that's what they say. Well, I can't because it's too important or it's too horrible
Hmm.
or whatever. So that's what I think. That's why came up with me to say it, because actually it isn't that. Try it, and I go back to your phrase, let it all go. How does that feel? I'd say the same thing. Try it, sit with that for a minute. How
Right.
does that feel? And you'd be surprised that it actually doesn't feel as wrong as you might think it does.
Yeah.
It is quite
That's
a lovely way to be. Does that make sense?
yes. And that's
Mm.
like exactly. I want to amplify that I think we make things out to be harder than it actually
Mm.
is. And
Yeah,
we
I
say, oh,
do.
I can't do that. I can't do that. It's just easier to stay the way that I am.
Yeah,
Or it's easier to just, keep doing what I've always been doing.
I
Yeah,
know.
I do that too. And I mean, I think we all do, but this
Mm.
is like why it's, I think at this moment in time, like I really feel this calling like from my soul. I know it's not just my soul. I feel it's like collective
Mm.
soul that is like, what does your soul desire for you to do and be that you're not doing? And
Yeah.
to like, and so it's having the awareness of all these things that we do to ourselves. Like there's enough control in the world. There's enough, things not the way we want it to be. And here we are getting in our own way and we
Mm.
don't have to. And it doesn't have to be some major act that we do. It's the small little acts. It's all the little things
Yes, it
that
is.
we
It is.
do and, that add up to like our freedom, our liberation, our,
Mm.
coming back to ourselves and being who we're like we came here to be and in our fullest expression. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just so glad we're having this conversation because like,
I think it's
yeah,
so true, isn't it? It is about us being, like you say, with the energy of the planets at the moment, being authentic, being true to ourselves, actually being bold, shining our light for who we are, and it doesn't matter what that is, no judgment.
right.
Whatever we feel is right. Being maybe brave enough to show our feelings or show whatever. Like I'm saying, talking about acceptance. I know some people aren't comfortable with that.
Hmm.
But I'm saying it because that's what I'm doing, and I'm saying how it feels, um, because I can. And a while ago, years ago maybe, I wouldn't have been comfortable saying that because I know other people wouldn't have understood maybe, and I would have just gone, "Oh, I won't say it because that makes me sound a bit woo woo, too woo
Yeah,
woo." But now
I love
I'm
a little
more.
woo woo.
We love a little bit of woo woo, yeah.
Yeah,
But it is that just to be, yes, I want to be authentic. That's how I feel, and that's what I'm
yeah,
doing. And I'm telling people about it. People that see me on social media, they probably get sick of it. Well, there she goes talking about what she's doing or what she's not doing. That's what we do,
yeah. I
and
mean,
that's okay, isn't it? To step out of that, like you say, the comfort zone of staying small and maybe doing things the way we've always done it. I'm going to do it a bit different. I want to talk about how I feel. I want to talk about what I'm learning, and with the hope and intention, if you like, of helping others, but more than anything, actually, just to express myself and be
yeah,
real and true to myself, because that's increasingly more important to me as time goes on. So I do feel it is something I want to do. And you touched earlier on then about, you said all the little things, and I picked up on it
mm,
because this is your new project, isn't it? What you're
yes,
talking about a lot, and it's coming, isn't it? So I'm not putting any pressure on you, but I know, but it is actually just going, we are doing more than we recognize that we're doing.
right.
And those daily habits and those little things that we do every day really do make a difference. They serve us well.
They
Really,
do.
really do. Even if it's something, I'm talking about my weight and my goals in that way. The little things I like to walk the dog every day. The little things I do every day, and recognizing
Hmm.
that is going some way towards what I want and what I need and that kind of
Yeah,
thing. But I don't always recognize it. So it's all the little things that I do, isn't it? And I know your idea is to put together. I don't know if it's going to be a book form or whatever it's going to be. I
yeah, it
mentioned the book,
is. Yeah,
and it's going to be in a form that people can access and dip into and out of in a way that um, really is going to help people, isn't it? And make these things easier. for people
Yes.
to recognize what they're doing, maybe set some new little things, goals, and that kind of thing, and
Mm-hmm.
put it into daily habits and practices, which I think is what we all need now, isn't it? So I think, and I've said it all the time, your Love Me books and, the poetry and everything, I dip in and I almost use it like that sometimes anyway. I sort of dip in and I go, what is this telling me today? And then
Yeah.
that's great. But I know what you're planning to do is going to make it much easier for people to use it in that way. And
Yeah.
I think we really need that kind of tool. We need it sort of
Mm-hmm.
spelled out for us, and we need those reminders.
Yeah. Because they're simple little things, but they're things that we kind of let go by the wayside. Like we're not
Mm,
always like, or even noticing things are like the art of noticing is part of that because we're
mm,
so busy trying to just do life in
mm.
this, structured way that society has structured for us instead of like being using our own internal guidance to navigate
Yeah.
our day to day. And so
Mm,
there's simple things, there are things that probably everybody does, but sometimes when we're caught up in life, we forget. And so like this came to me when I took a pause from social media and kind of retreated a little bit just to kind of declutter the noise and really like tune all that out because I didn't know where I wanted to go next, but I knew I like something was ready to come through and it
yeah.
did. And
Yeah.
and I feel like that is I mean that's what happens when we kind of oh my door just slammed shut. It's very windy here and I had my door open and it just
Oh,
closed.
I
Um
didn't hear it, but I can see a lovely breeze every now and again coming
yeah.
into this
Well,
place.
that's gone now because the door just closed. But anyways, that's what happens when you're live.
It does.
Um what was I saying? Yeah, like these points or all the little things are like the things that I use to come back home to myself, to find love for
Mm,
myself.
mm,
And I'm not writing it from a point of view for myself. It's more for like generally speaking, it's like going to be
yeah.
more of a kind of, yeah, like you dip in and out. It's kind of like a toolbox in a
Mm,
book form. And
yeah, yeah, which is
just little
great.
like daily reminders and because yeah, we get so caught up and we just like yeah, go through our day with all these auto responses and like that's you know related to what we're talking about here is like kind of letting
Mm,
ourselves sit with the reality and accept
yeah,
it and then we can
yeah.
move forward and we grow and we just nurture ourselves like you said something about like we talk to our friends and our family the way in a certain way and like why don't we talk to ourselves that way or take care of ourselves in that way or
Yeah,
hold our hands on our heart or whatever it is just to give
mm,
ourselves that love
yeah,
and compassion too because that's and I think that's why like the world is the way that it is right now because we've been so externally driven instead of internally driven
yeah, yeah,
collectively. Yeah.
yeah. So again, it is that going into yourself, being authentic and doing what you feel, regardless of what you think other people think about that is so powerful, isn't it? And to help encourage people to do that more is going to be so beneficial, isn't it, for them individually, but also for the bigger picture, isn't it?
Mhm.
So it'd be very. As I said, I don't like to put pressure on you, but I can't wait until this is out there. And
Yeah.
I know, and it's not. I've said it to you before, and I think you're doing it already. It's all in your book already. It's just that you're going to put it in a different
Different
format.
form.
Not
Yeah.
saying it's all repeating because your book is your story and your story has moved on, but it's what you've learned from it and everything, and making it a
Yeah.
way people can access so easily is
Yeah.
going to be so helpful to people because we all need a little bit of a helpful tool or something just to remind us. And you
I
said
think
earlier, didn't you, about finding, noticing the good things that we forget all the time. And we've talked before, haven't we, calling that glimmers. Um,
mhm.
because people are getting more in tune with their triggers, which is the opposite, my understanding.
Yeah.
We're going, oh, that triggers me. I know that, and we're getting that, and that's good for people to recognise. But remember, the other side of that is the glimmers
The
and the
glimmers.
wonderful,
Yeah.
magical moments. And why not? Almost encourage ourselves, train ourselves, if you like, to be noticing those more because they make us feel good. So, and I think that's the way I feel the way you've talked about it to me. That's what it's going to
Yeah,
be.
that's exactly it. Yeah.
Little reminders and things in
And
there that can go. So every day we can go through and go, yeah, and oh, it's going to be lovely to get to the end of the day and just go, yeah, I did it. I remembered to notice the glimmer. I remember to do one little thing or
mm,
whatever. I congratulate myself. I feel good. I gave myself pause. I accepted something. All of those things. And it is at the end of the day, do we ever sit back and congratulate ourselves for doing good? Probably not.
yeah,
But
we
it'd
don't
be
give
lovely.
ourselves the time a lot of the
Yeah,
time.
it would
It's
be
yeah.
lovely to do it. And it doesn't have to take long, does it? It could just be, I do of a nighttime, one of my nighttime routines is what I call my thank you. So I think back on the day and go, what am I grateful for?
Yeah,
But to get into
love
that,
that.
something as simple as going, what am I proud of? What would I congratulate myself for? We're uncomfortable with that, aren't we?
Hmm.
As a nation, I think we are. Maybe just everybody human is a bit uncomfortable, but why not? I'm proud of that. I did that. And
Yeah.
and again, it's just remembering, that kind of thing, to make you feel good and make you actually go, yeah, the world's not so bad and scary, and I'm actually quite good at it.
Yeah.
It's that kind of
And
thing, isn't it? Why not?
it
Yeah.
it is. And all of these little things and, coming back to this book and then like you said, finding the glimmers and all of that, it's something to come back to because life ebbs and flows, and there's dark times, and then suddenly we're up again, and then suddenly and it's, I think, you and I were talking about this, and how it's the darker times that, like, when we're in a good place, that make it feel that much like we're more grateful for that, that things are
Totally.
are looking up, or we're just feeling in a lighter energy. And but that's life. Life is just cyclical like that, and it ebbs and
Mm,
flows. It's the contrast of life that makes life beautiful. Like, we're not exempt from grief, we're not exempt from sadness,
mm,
and we're not exempt from joy either. Like, that
no,
is, but they
no,
all require us to sit with them and to
yeah, yeah,
cultivate. I'm not saying cultivate grief, but cultivate joy. Like, that's accessible for
mm,
everybody,
mm,
and it's not something that has
mm,
to be fleeting just based on something tangible or like material, or
mm,
it comes from within, and that's like what all the little things are about. Or like you said, noticing the glimmers
yeah,
versus being triggered. And
yeah,
not to say not noticing when you're triggered, because that's
mm,
important too, because the more we work with
yeah.
that, the less we're triggered.
I,
So
I, I think that's so right, isn't it? And actually, like you say, recognizing that we go up and down all the time, or we go round and round all the time. Again, that's okay because we do.
yeah.
And remember, I know now when I'm really down, which does still happen, and that's okay. I know that there's going to be an up from it. There's going to be some lightness again.
Yes.
So I'm getting more comfortable again with that accepting is part of
Hmm.
it. But also then I can look forward to maybe the lesson I'll learn from that downtime, or when something happens that you don't really like. There's always a lesson to be learned. There's always something, isn't there? You always
There
get something to
is.
come out of things. So it's looking for that, isn't it? And trusting again that actually that is what happens, because I'm a certain age, I can look back and go, oh yeah, that was horrible, but that's the good thing that came out of it.
Yeah,
I've
there's
got,
always
I've,
something.
yeah, I've got real life experiences of
Yeah.
those things, but it's good to be able to remember, isn't it? So and trust that they will come again, because that is, like you say, life goes round and round all the time, and that's just the
Yeah.
way it is, isn't it? So
Yeah.
and I know that you help personally people. You work with people one to one, and you do also your lovely Reiki and all of your healing that you do. You've
Hmm.
done work with me, which I'm so grateful for. So how can people find you, Trish? What's the best way to find all that you do and be on the lookout for the new stuff that's coming?
Yeah, well, definitely here on Instagram. This is Trish Campbell, and my website, this is trishcampbell.com. You can also like see all the things that I do there. Yeah, and I love, helping others, kind of, sit with them and help walk them through, like, things I've been through too. And I know you do some of that lovely work as well, because you've supported me in my own healing, and you have some beautiful meditations. that are my go-to when I just need a moment to pause and I want a guided meditation to kind of take me through that. And whether that's around sleep or just, I know you have a beautiful bluebell one for the springtime and
Yes, yes.
your nettle and so many different ones. And you have like such amazing work with your calmer self method. And that's like also, I've personally experienced that too. So where
Yeah.
can people find you and all of your lovely work?
Yeah, thank you, Trish. Yeah. All of what you've just said is on my website. So that's calmerself.co.uk. And also my YouTube channel has tons of things on it, and we put these chit chats on there, don't we, as well? So there's
Yeah.
all of the things we've talked about on there as well, and that's Calmer Self as well. So that's how you find me. So I
Yeah.
think, we've got a lot to share, and we like to share it, don't we? So
Yeah, we do. We do. Well, thanks for joining. Yeah, I always am so grateful we get to have these conversations out loud and because we're having them anyways, and I know we're not alone in the things
yeah,
that we're feeling. So, yeah, until the next time.
yes, thank
Yeah.
you.